Genji. I really like their chances going up against Sonya Garrosh, who are bypassed a little bit more easily, and Rhaegar, who cannot save himself as much. That's why the Tassadar pick by Tempo is smart as well.
Yeah, I can see why they picked up the Tesla, because they're realizing that, well, respecting more than anything, right, what Fnatic can do with those portals, jumping into the back line, destroying Rhaegar. He can't do much, he can't cleanse himself, nor can he ancestral himself. Tesla gives you that buffer, that EHP, so to speak, as he'll be looking to try and get himself out of harm's way. Tesla obviously so elusive himself with the dimensional shift, so shouldn't necessarily be caught out by the Medivh or what could have been otherwise with the entangling roots, but...
And Tyrael with Holy Ground or Sanct protects the portal invade so that Malf can step through and Twilight Dream.
Yeah, you have a lot of opportunity, a lot of engage with that. It's going to be going back to familiarity here with the Anubarak, though. A very strong early game pick who can do a lot of damage. Early rotations are so important on this map. You can follow up his burrow charges, his impales with those roots. You have portals to give him longer range. So I think it's a pick that goes back towards Medivh, but I think it does sacrifice a lot once we get past that stage as you go to the later game. The Malthael as well, this is not a map where you have strong solo laning as a priority.
I'm just interested now.
One more hero. Will it be the Kerrigan? Will it be the Kel'Thuzad? Because the Anubarak is kind of to stop Kel'Thuzad. Kerrigan gets countered by Medivh, but Kerrigan and Garrosh bypass the Force of Will time. There is a potential for either one of those two cool heroes here for Psalm.
I mean, you have so much CC if you do take the Kerrigan. You have the Sonya Spear, but I mean, I'm not sold on it. I think we need range damage. They're going to do it! Oh, man. Okay.
It won them a lot of games in the group stage.
And Vengeance never looked this good.
I feel like, you know, this is going to be the story we talked about going as far back as that opening week. Will they show the same style
a lot of
as
snipes.
they showed in opening
What this will
week?
mean is you can actually bring more total damage
familiar.
to a team fight through high
Does.
accuracy.
The question that you kind of brought
Now,
up
if you want to learn more about the stealth changes, please come to the Hero Deep Dive panel.
Now is land 2 or 3 man combos.
Yes, so much displacement, so many stuns.
Can't heal everybody, or can't protect everybody. You know, if you hit everybody, you can just find that one target, blow them up, but there's not a lot of range damage.
Until level 16.
Sure.
If you don't take the reabsorption, but you take the group protect, that would be a pretty good choice, but this is so cool. Solo Assassin Kerrigan. I mean, I'm very excited about this. And let's keep in mind that although Force of Will can protect a blow-up target, it is not a cleanse. They don't take damage, they still get displaced, they still get stunned, and that means follow-up stuns are in place. There is no cleanse.
All right.
If Tempo was going to do it with any draft, this is it.
It's ready. Game number 3 on the way here. Fnatic and Tempo Storm go head-to-head. The winner will advance on to the round of 4. Let's head over to Gillian Dreadnought to bring us all the action.
When they are down and out, Tempo Storm puts all their hopes in the Queen of Blades as they bring back Kerrigan. Psalm's Kerrigan averaged 8 kills per game in the 2 games that they played, so it is a power pick for them.
And you gotta just, the amount of trust that Tempo Storm has put into Psalm in this tournament is insane. Every time their back is against the wall, they're like, you know what, you wanna put on the backpack? Because we're ready to hop in, carry us to victory.
We've got the Kerrigan yet again. Let's get into it. Game 3, the final game of this best of 3 between Europe and North America, Fnatic and Tempo Storm.
Game number 2 looked very dominant here for the men in blue. Again, it is Fnatic. We have Breeze on that Anubarak, Quacknix on his Greymane, Schwimpy playing out that Medivh, Wubby's gonna be on the Malthael, and last is Smexy on the Malfurion. Let's hear it for Fnatic!
The team bringing the Circles of Pain. They've got June playing Rhaegar, Fury on Garrosh, Cothenlock playing Tassadar. We'll have Psalm playing as Kerrigan, and finally Caterpillar on Sonya. I want to hear you shout for Tempo Storm!
There are so many amazing just interactions between the compositions that both these teams have built. I just want to bring to highlight the Garrosh-Kerrigan synergy, the ability to be able to pull them in, flip them away, hit the rock stun with the Kerrigan. It is a very, you know, pixel-perfect style of play, but Tempo Storm here, they've shown that they are well-versed in the Kerrigan, excuse me there, and I just want to see what are they going to really bring here, because this, I mean, this is it for them.
And although Fnatic, who have Medivh, they first picked Medivh as a way of trying to counter whatever cheese or specially crafted strategy that Tempo Storm could bring in. Although they have that as a kind of counter for these pulls, the pulls could also come back to bite Fnatic for trying to take advantage of things like portals. You can pull them away from that and then get the kill before you can ever even get to the portal into safety.
And another thing to bring up when looking at the playstyle trends of Fnatic in the past and here in the composition, we see Tempo Storm picking up with that Kerrigan is Fnatic's okay with not taking fights into the early game. They're okay with giving you, mid-tier advantages here and there as long as they know the future game plan. They know where the power strike, where the power play is, where they need to strike later on. And Kerrigan compositions are terrible into that playstyle. They are, the biggest weakness is the team that is not willing to face check disrupt, not willing to match up into the laning situation as we see Fnatic doing here.
There's the pull, the flip. Smexy in trouble, has the force of will with the portal and will get back. Woo! Just one of many potential scary points for Fnatic, but they get through the first.
It's actually going to be amazing. You have so much just lack of ability to control your hero, so much crowd control there for Tempo Storm, and then Fnatic, you have the Medivh plays. They amazing, back and forth between the portals. I expect legitimately every team fight to just be hectic as all hell.
Now, after 13, a pull and a flip on Malfurion may not be the best idea, because he goes into Ice Block, jukes that, everyone comes in for the kill, and then he Twilight Dream silences all 5 members of Tempo Storm. So we might see some adjustment there on who ends up getting thrown into the fray of Tempo Storm.
But when it comes to the, laning situation here between the two teams, Tempo Storm has done a pretty good job of holding their own. They are unable to get a kill again because Fnatic understands the win conditions. They know that playing safe is into their best interest, but they're also appropriately mismatching lanes. This is something that is very common specifically within the Chinese region too. If you understand that you do not win the 1-4 into your opponent, why would you ever follow them into the lanes? You constantly make it a variable, make it hard for them to figure out where you're going to go, as Tempo Storm's trying to do here up on bottom. But he's going to be able to sniff that right on out. And look at Fnatic biting back.
Fnatic's ready to get back in. Caterpillar spinning to win.
Nice route.
Has the root to catch him. He's starting to fall low. With one final Arcane Rift, Tempo Storm still stays strong. No first blood in this game. We are neck in neck in this best of 3. So much is on the line here. There's no double elimination bracket. The winner of this game goes on and the loser goes home.
And I have to bring to light here the Shattered Ground adjustment there for Sonya. Caterpillars on that. It's not something we see too much here and there. Rich has been willing to bust it out in certain situations, but into a Malthael laning mismatch where Sonya's going to be dominant. Hold up here. The root drop there up on top. Psalm goes for a combo. Breeze is able to get the impale there, and that is first blood over to Fnatic.
Fnatic feeling good after being able to get that first blood. But as you're talking about, the Shattered Ground is something that has been being played more and more at this tournament. What are your thoughts on that?
Whenever you have a solid laning matchup, which the Sonya into Malthael is pretty profitable post-7 for her once she gets the Poison Spear, she doesn't have to rely on just her spin to win to be able to get that wave clear. The Shattered Ground splash damage is going to put so much structural pressure onto the Malthael that it's going to force a response out of Fnatic if they ignore this lane too long.
Caterpillar in so much danger, spins through using the ability to get through, but it's not enough. As Sonya falls and Fnatic begins the siege, they have Web Weavers pushing behind them. They push this lane all the way up to the tower so they can get the most bang for their buck.
The timing on that death could not have been worse there for Tempo Storm and friends, sending Tassadar now to the bottom lane to be able to deal with Malthael. Big knock up there to flip onto Breeze. He has no escape, well, unless Schwimpy makes one for him.
Yeah, Medivh breaks the game. The Fun Police is here for Fnatic. And this is an important time with Medivh trying to stack up for his stacks, but even with that, Fnatic still want to get as much as they can get done with this. They're going to dive underneath the fort and start to go in. Fury and Psalm take so much damage with the combo.
They're going to try and turn this around, but Psalm's in a really bad spot. He gets the reset, leaves on to Breeze, but they get the kill. He's going to take that portal out, and Fnatic showing the aggression here, bringing it to what we consider an early games composition for Tempo Storm. If you're a North American fan, you've got to be scared at how this game is looking so far.
Yes, because Fnatic hasn't just been able to get a fourth. They haven't just been able to get 3 kills. We're talking about Tomb of the Spider Queen, where an opponent can be so oppressive, they can snowball the game game in the blink of an eye, and it starts with the start of a game like this. They've been able to rotate down. They have one fort down. They're working on a second one. They're looking to try to get the second turn in after this so that they can take out all the forts, get things pushed up to the keep towers, and from there never let go of their lead.
And we have to bring back to light here, when it came to the map selection, Tempo Storm was the team willing to take Fnatic here to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Not only is Europe one of the best regions in the world, probably the best region in the world when looking at Tomb, but more importantly, Fnatic's climb through the ranks and ladder of Europe started with a very brilliant strategy. I mean, it feels like they wrote the textbook on Tomb, so confidence from them. But so far, this aggressive strategy is really just being shut down so well by Fnatic.
Ooh, I'm getting scared for Tempo Storm and the way that Schwimpy was positioning, but there's not quite heroic abilities yet for Fnatic, and this is the best time for Tempo Storm to hope to get a kill and catch back up to Fnatic before things get out of control and irrecoverable for them. Not getting that, finding a position though, as Fnatic hit 10, Tempo Storm disengage.
Gilly, this is going to be, if this Webweaver phase moves over for Fnatic, pre-10 for Tempo Storm. Look at their composition. There is legitimately only a Tassadar for their range. Kerrigan, yes, she's made up for it through talent adjustments to try and get a little bit of wave clear. Yeah, so has Sonya, but it is, their positioning has to be so far forward that Twilight Dream, Anubarak, Leyline Seal, I mean, just everything on the side of Fnatic is going to have an absolute heyday here.
Yeah, Fnatic's looking to paint the battleground blue with this next set of web weavers. They've got it pushed on. Either way, it's a good thing for Fnatic as they take down the tower, and they're setting up even better. They've got Malthael keeping an eye on everything from Tempo Storm. And Tempo Storm, they have people who can combo someone in. They may be able to get a combo from Garrosh on one of the members of Fnatic, but so far that just has been stopped hard from the Medivh pick of Schwimpy, and that is so brilliant drafting from Fnatic.
Tempo Storm will be able to pick up their heroics slowly but surely, but the bottom web weaver securing the fort, top web weaver is making a lot happen here as well for the members of Fnatic. And we have to bring to light that though Tempo Storm did have a brilliant game number 1 showing, they haven't gotten a kill since game number 1. And they have a Kerrigan composition, you know that has got to change. I'm also wondering, maybe double down on the aggression. That things are not working in this game according to plan. Maybe you leap, you know, get a little bit weird with these type of initiations. I don't want to necessarily say that everyone at home should be busting out the leap in your own games, but Tempo Storm, it seems like they need to change something up here.
You just wanted to see leap because you're casting with me, is that right?
I mean, you're right.
All
yeah,
right. Sadly, we don't get it. But maybe we're going to see a force launch, so figuring things out. No, it's Archon for Tassadar. Heroics are here, and Tempo Storm needs to go. This is the time. Fnatic are on the boss. They're not quite 13. Tempo Storm has to get something going right now.
And even if we see Tempo Storm attempt to be able to get a turn in for themselves here, it's just going to be wasted here on this top boss that Fnatic's able to pick up. They're goaltending not only one of those shrines, but they get the boss as well. Fnatic's taking everything here away from Tempo Storm.
Yeah, Tempo didn't get that turn in, which means they don't have any relief from Fnatic in the way that they're pushing. The best they can do is just get back behind their wall before Schwimpy drops more than just the sprays on top of Tempo Storm.
He's just trying to spray over top of the Tempo Storm spray there with the Fnatic spray.
Well, he pushed it even further. It's closer to the base. Therefore, this is mine now. This is the Fnatic side of the map. All of it is Fnatic side.
It's about to be in a couple of seconds here. Members of Fnatic, we see a nice pull for Fury. He does not want to go ahead and drop the toss quite yet. Boss already below 50% HP. Impale drops, Psalm's at a bad spot. Wabi goes in.
Tormented Souls is out. He's going to start stepping back on top of Tempo Storm. Twilight Dream as Smexy moves through the portal, but all of Tempo Storm are safe. Importantly for Fnatic, though, they take the keep.
And they have Leyline Seal in case things get a little bit sketchy here on full retreat. I just want to bring to light the clever playmaking there for Fnatic. That was exactly what they wanted to do. Move past, zone Tempo Storm off the keep, and take the keep itself. Yes, it does cost maybe more heroics than we see into the later stages of the game, but at 9 minutes in, to be able to take that kind of keep over Tempo Storm, at this point, it feels like it's Fnatic's game to lose.
Yeah, something that I noticed a lot from Fnatic in this latest part in League play is how good they are at just kind of like puffing out their chests and seeing, can we scare away our opponents just by feigning aggression, just sending certain people out, maybe forcing a heroic here and there, just purely out of the fear of Fnatic as a team, the Colossus that they are, the mid-season Brawl champions.
Yeah, you know, to kind of bring it way back all the way to last BlizzCon, I'd say compare it to like Noblesse on Murden. He was so comfortable. He's just like, I don't have friends, I don't care. I'm going to scare you off of this point, make you think I have a whole squad sitting right behind me. And Fnatic does that perfectly here throughout this game, throughout most of the games we end up getting to see them play. June trying to drop this turn in though, as we see Schwimpy doing what the Raven does best here. Pesty above, dropping sprays.
Yeah, he gives the vision, and then Smexy has a Loon's Grace, so he has that extra range to more safely be able to drop that down to stall out, and they get the stall because of this. Tempo Storm still so fearful of Fnatic as a team, knowing that trying to keep is gone. This is really terrifying for Tempo Storm positionally, but it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better by going back and hiding in the base.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to say that I'm looking at later talent tiers and that maybe something comes online for the members of Tempo Storm, but it just doesn't. Yes, they do get stronger as the game goes on, but so do the members of Fnatic, sadly, here if you're a Tempo Storm fan. But they're doing a great job constantly keeping up this pressure as the catapults build on top. Psalm yet to move in here for a combo attempt. You go ahead, he's going to land it on top of two, get the Maelstrom.
Maelstrom, he's ready to go. They've got the double taunt, hits a couple, but Leyline Seal will stop the aggression for now. Psalm moves forward while Fnatic moves out of the base. They have done enough.
They've gotten the work up into the middle lane. They're going to transfer right on bottom. This is the dance, you know, the painting you were talking about, what Fnatic does so very well. It is so pretty, their transitions here, and Tempo Storm is desperate. When they hurt the 13, I would like to see them trying all in, to be honest. They have yet to really force a major team fight, and it's not like this game, again, is getting any prettier for themselves.
Yeah, Fnatic have brought down Tempo Storm to the bottom while catapults are up in the top lane. Tempo Storm has taken damage, but 16's almost here. This is the point. This is the time before they get to the 16. Now it's the go time, and now the go time is stopped because 16 is here, but they might go anyway.
Tempo Storm, it's taking catapult damage. Tempo Storm has negative wave clear at this point, it feels like. They have no way to deal with these minions, and Fnatic is putting them into that lose-lose scenario they do over and over again. Tempo seems sped up, though. They're going in.
The time is up. The time is now. Psalm and Fury go in on top of Fnatic. They've got Wubby, though, with Tormented Souls, and Kerrigan is blown up.
They get themselves Kerrigan. They find the Sonya immediately after 87% exists onto the core. But Fnatic, they're not going to aggress over quite yet. Lock down the bottom keep, and now it seems like they are done. They are ready to send Tempo Storm back home.
They're sending him packing. The core is falling. Fnatic struggled in game one. They lost to North America, but despite their best efforts, Tempo Storm just doesn't have the defense here versus Fnatic. We're down to 20% and continuing to fall as Fnatic takes out Tempo Storm.
Fnatic showing why they are one of the best teams, why they are your reigning champions. Game number one, things get a little bit weird for them, maybe show signs of struggle, but then they just take a minute, recollect themselves and go, boys, I mean, we know how to play this game. We know what we're doing here. Confidence displayed on Tempo Storm, not even letting them get a kill through all of game number 2, nor game number 3.
Yeah, the biggest thing for Fnatic is to take that mental fortitude. Yes, a best of 3 is terrifying. We've heard about it so many times. But Fnatic knows they are the stronger team. They have been at the top of their region, at the top